Ever wondered why you keep putting things off even when you know you shouldn't? It's not laziness or being bad at adulting. Procrastination is wired into your brain, habits, and emotions. Understanding why helps you work with your mind, not against it. Fear of failure. One of the biggest hidden drivers of procrastination is fear of failure. It's not just about being lazy, it's about protecting yourself from the pain of messing up. When you think you might fail, your brain's threat system, the amygdala, lights up like there's real danger. To avoid feeling ashamed, embarrassed, or not good enough, you put off starting altogether. You might tell yourself you'll do it later when you're more prepared, but that perfect moment never really comes. So you stall with distractions, over-planning, or busy work that feels safe. Ironically, this fear of failing makes you more likely to fail by running out of time or giving up. The way through isn't waiting to feel fearless. It's shrinking the task until it feels doable. Focus on progress, not perfection. Take small, imperfect steps. Every tiny action builds courage and slowly silences the part of your brain that keeps yelling, "What if you mess up?" Perfectionism is procrastination in disguise. It tricks you into believing you're just waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect mood, but really, it's fear wrapped in high standards. When you believe something has to be flawless, your brain's prefrontal cortex sets impossibly high bars, while the amygdala stirs up anxiety about falling short. The result, you freeze, you keep researching, tweaking, or rewriting instead of doing. You tell yourself you're just not ready yet, but perfection is a moving target. You never actually hit it, so the work never gets done. The truth is, nothing we do is ever perfect, and waiting to feel ready only keeps you stuck. The antidote is progress over perfection. Set a timer, do a messy first draft, and press send before you feel 100% done. Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction, and you'll learn far more by doing badly than by not doing at all. Lack of motivation. Lack of motivation is one of the sneakiest reasons people procrastinate, and it's not always your fault. When a task feels boring, irrelevant, or disconnected from your personal goals, your brain's reward system doesn't fire up. Dopamine, the motivation chemical, stays low, so even thinking about the task feels draining. This is why you'll suddenly find yourself doing anything except the thing you should be doing: scrolling, snacking, daydreaming. The brain naturally seeks quick dopamine hits, not delayed rewards. The fix isn't to force yourself to care. It's to connect the task to something meaningful, break it into small steps that feel doable, and reward progress along the way. A study session feels different when you promise yourself a fun break afterward. A boring report becomes bearable if you tie it to your bigger goal, like getting a raise or building your skills. Tiny sparks of meaning make motivation possible. Overwhelm. Overwhelm is a huge trigger for procrastination, and it often hits when a task feels too big, too complex, or too unstructured. Your brain doesn't know where to start, so instead it freezes or distracts itself with something easier. This happens because the prefrontal cortex, which handles planning and breaking tasks into steps, gets overloaded when there's too much information or too many moving parts. It's like staring at a messy closet and feeling so stressed you shut the door again. The key is to shrink the mountain into pebbles. Break big tasks into the smallest possible steps, so small they feel laughably doable. Clean the whole house becomes put one plate in the dishwasher. Progress fuels clarity. Each tiny action lowers mental clutter and proves to your brain, hey, this isn't so bad. The next step feels more possible. Overwhelm loses its power when you focus on just the next small move. Poor time management. Poor time management is a sneaky cause of procrastination because it tricks you into thinking you have more time than you do. You might underestimate how long a task will take, or overcommit your day without leaving room for reality. This isn't always about being careless. It's about how your prefrontal cortex handles planning and time awareness. When that mental planner is weak or overloaded, you default to "I'll do it later," until later turns into a last-minute panic. Then adrenaline kicks in and you rush to meet the deadline. It becomes a cycle: delay, stress, cram. The brain gets addicted to that last-minute pressure because it forces focus, but it costs you energy and peace of mind. Breaking this cycle means getting honest about how long things take. Use timers, break projects into chunks, and plan backward from your deadlines. Small systems like this help retrain your brain to respect time, not fight it. Instant gratification. Instant gratification is one of the biggest traps that feeds procrastination, and it's not just about being lazy or easily distracted. It's your brain doing exactly what it was wired to do: seek pleasure now and avoid discomfort. Limbic system, which controls emotion and reward, loves quick dopamine hits, scrolling social media, watching videos, snacking, anything that feels good immediately. Meanwhile, your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles long-term goals and self-control, has to fight that pull. And when you're tired, bored, or stressed, the limbic system usually wins. That's why you say, "I'll just check my phone for 5 minutes," and suddenly it's an hour later with nothing done. Beating this isn't about superhuman willpower, it's about making the long-term reward feel closer and the distractions feel harder to reach. Try blocking distracting apps, setting tiny deadlines, or rewarding yourself only after the work is done. Small tweaks break the loop. Lack of structure. Lack of structure is one of the sneakiest causes of procrastination because it feels harmless until it's not. When you don't have clear goals, deadlines, or a simple plan, your brain floats in ambiguity. The prefrontal cortex, which handles planning and focus, loves specifics. Vague ideas like "I'll work out more" or "I'll write that thing soon" don't give it anything to lock onto, so your motivation fizzles out fast. Instead, your brain defaults to what's easy, nothing, or distractions that give quick rewards. That's why tasks without structure linger for weeks or months. You can fix this by giving your brain a clear target. Break big tasks into tiny next steps. Set start times, not just deadlines. Make your goals visual. Sticky notes, calendars, or simple to-do lists that say exactly what to do next. It's not about rigid rules. It's about giving your mind a map so you don't wander off track. Low energy or burnout. Low energy and burnout are huge hidden drivers of procrastination, yet we often ignore them and blame ourselves instead. When you're mentally or physically drained, your brain struggles to switch on the parts that handle focus, decision-making, and willpower. Chronic stress, poor sleep, or constant demands drain the prefrontal cortex and overload your nervous system. The result, even small tasks feel like mountains. You might sit there staring at your to-do list, but feel too exhausted to move. This isn't laziness, it's biology. Your body is trying to protect you from more strain. The fix? Respect your energy budget. Build in real breaks, improve your sleep routine, eat to fuel your brain, and don't expect yourself to operate at 100% all the time. If you're running on empty, start by recharging, not by shaming yourself for what you didn't do. Sometimes the most productive step is to rest so you can return ready. Self-doubt and impostor syndrome. Self-doubt and impostor syndrome are two of the sneakiest reasons people procrastinate, and they're more common than you think. When you constantly question whether you're good enough to do something well, your brain tries to protect you by avoiding the task altogether. It's like a built-in safety mechanism. If I don't do it, no one can judge me for doing it badly. This fear triggers the amygdala, the brain's threat center, flooding you with anxiety and self-criticism. Over time, it becomes a loop. The more you avoid, the worse you feel, and the more you doubt yourself next time. The antidote? Start small, break the task into steps that feel manageable. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Talk back to that inner critic with facts. You've succeeded before. You can learn as you go. And mistakes don't mean you're a fraud. They mean you're human, and humans grow by doing, not by hiding. Habit. Procrastination isn't always about fear or perfectionism. Sometimes it's just a habit your brain has wired in over time. When you delay tasks often enough, your brain's basal ganglia, the part that controls routines, locks it in like muscle memory. Soon, avoiding discomfort becomes automatic. You might not even realize you're doing it. Maybe you've always waited until the last minute because that mild panic gives you a rush of adrenaline to get it done. Or maybe delaying things just feels normal now. The problem is that each time you procrastinate, you reinforce that neural pathway. The good news, habits can be rewired. It starts by catching yourself in the moment. Notice the urge to delay, pause, and take one small action instead, like setting a 5-minute timer to begin. Tiny actions break the old loop and train your brain to choose to do over delaying, one repeat at a time. For people with ADHD, procrastination is extra tricky. The ADHD brain often struggles with dopamine regulation and executive function, the very systems that drive focus and self-control. If you have ADHD, it's not about willpower. It's how your brain's wired. The good news, you can work with it once you understand it. If you see yourself in any of these reasons, you're not broken, you're human. And the more you understand why you procrastinate, the more power you have to change it. Which reason hit you hardest? Drop it in the comments. And if you want practical ways to break the cycle, let me know. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Your brain will thank you later. Better brain days.